a true cult phenomenon. Birdemic tells the story of two members of a small town who fight back against a platoon of eagles and vultures that suddenly and inexplicably descend upon the community, leaving destruction and bloodshed in their wake. Will these heroes be able to survive the terror that is Birdemic? I'm Corey.
And I'm Paul.
And we are
the B-Movie Bros. Here review B-movies to the best of our ability.
Sometimes we get off topic, but randomness is a gift. So this week, as we start November, it will be our Bird Month. And you just heard the Amazon.com description of Birdemic, Shock and Terror from 2011. Let's hear what we have to say about it. Let's dive right into this shit with our technical difficulties, top and bottom three.
Let's start with the bottom first. Get all that out of the way. You want to go first?
Sure. Number 3. During the end credits, there is a character named Miss Tippi Hedren, who is apparently played by, quote-unquote, footage from Julie and Jack. What the fuck is this shit? Who is Julie? Who is Jack? What is footage from Julie and Jack? Who was Mrs. Tippi Hedren? I don't understand how this character was played by footage from somebody else. They fucking dangle a film strip in front of the goddamn camera? Like, what? I don't comprehend.
Corey, clearly Footage is her first name. Like, have you never heard of Saint Footage? God.
Is that the
Read your
patron saint
Bible.
of pornography?
Duh.
Number 2. The audio in this movie is constantly cutting out. It just stops for no reason. It's not just them talking and they abruptly stop talking. The audio altogether cuts out. Talking, music, footsteps, ambient noise, everything. It just stops. And it stops for like a second or two, and then it starts right back up again. Like there was no fucking reason. Again, I don't understand it. It may have been a stylistic choice. It may have been terrible audio editing. The world may never know.
I'm going to go with the latter in that one.
Number 1, the worst thing about this movie is called Birdemic, Shock and Terror. And the Birdemic does not happen until 47 minutes into this movie. Now, you might be saying, 47 minutes, that's not long. Well, this isn't fucking Titanic. This is Birdemic. This isn't 3 hours and 14 minutes. It's 93 minutes long. It's only an hour and a half. So at 47 minutes, this is more than halfway through the movie, and we are just now seeing the Birdemic happening. What do you say?
For number 3, I didn't care about any of the human characters at all. In fact, I was rooting for the birds the entire time. Number 2, the fucking transition scenes in this movie were just so fucking awkward. They didn't know how to end a scene, so they'd just be like end a sentence and then suddenly you'd be somewhere else. It was really awkward to watch. And number 1, I agree with you. The fucking Birdemic plot didn't even begin until 47 minutes into the fucking movie. It really didn't seem like they had any direction before the Birdemic happened. And then they still didn't have any direction, but at least it was entertaining. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, let's go to the positives on this movie, or whatever you can call positive.
So for me, number 3, the Birdemic in this movie doesn't come about until 47 minutes into the movie. And when it does, man, it is a shitstorm of fucking awesomeness. Birds are flying, explosions are happening, people are getting their throats torn out and eyes ripped and shit. It is amazing. You know, we waited 47 minutes for it. It might have been a little long, but when it happens, man, it happens. Number 2, the acting in this movie was just so bad. It was hilarious. Like, every time someone talked, I was like, did they just type that into Google Speak, or does somebody actually have to do that? And it just made me chuckle. I thought it was wonderful. Number 1, I never had any idea what the fuck was going on for the entirety of this movie. And that may have been for the best. Oh, hey, look, there are characters on screen. Oh, bye, characters. We're never going to see you again. Why are the birds exploding? Oh, my God. They're randomly firing guns in the air, and birds are falling and not falling. And why are there birds there? Oh, my God, they're in a hotel. Jesus Christ, what is happening, people? I can't take it anymore.
Sounds like you got the movie pretty much correct. I mean, I don't think there was more to get out of it than that.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, scenes just kind of ended and new stuff picked up, and I just wanted to see where they were going with it. Like, I didn't care that I had no idea what was going on, and I think that's one of the biggest charms of this movie is, yeah, nothing's happening, but things just happen so terribly that you just want to know what's going to happen next or what the next fuck-up is going to be.
All right, so for my top three, number 3, I love the amazingly calm manner in which the characters handle any situation. There was zero sense of urgency at any point in the movie, even when the birds were actually killing people. Number 2, the clear lack of direction this movie had was incredible. Things just kind of happened, and scenes end at random. Like, I've never seen a movie quite like this, and I've seen a lot of terrible films. And for number 1, when the actual Birdemic plot begins, it was amazing. They had the cheapest-looking CGI birds ever, these stock gun sounds, and the fake blood looked like grape jelly. And the acting was just horrible. I was just amazed by this movie.
Well, you know, we didn't mention the dialogue at all, and that's because the dialogue in this was pure shit-tacular fuckness. So we're going to do our favorite sounds from the movie, which happen to be the birds themselves. So get ready for this special bird edition of Quote Wars.
Quote War.
All right, I'm going to be the birds, and Paul's going to respond. And that ends this episode's edition of Quote Wars. I don't really think they knew what birds sounded like in this movie.
It sounded like some kind of mix between a bird and a dying child/cat.
So, yeah, if you have a favorite quote from this movie, please tell us here or on our website, bmoviebros.com. Let's give Birdemic our final take, where Paul and I will give you a score on our shot scale. Remember, our shot scale is reverse scale, 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. How many shots do you need to get through this movie? Paul, what do you say?
I give this movie a 2 out of 10.
I give this movie simultaneously a 2 and a 7 out of 10.
That sounds about right.
So what did you have to say?
This movie is amazing. The effects are awful, the plot is pretty much non-existent, and the scene transitions are the most awkward I've ever seen. Characters just show up, then leave, and are never seen again. And before you know it, the movie just ends. It was glorious. It was like the creators just said, hey, we're making a movie. Doesn't have to be good. We're just, making a movie about birds. Fucking amazing. I've seen movies that were ridiculous. I've seen movies that lacked direction. But Birdemic just brings these elements to a new level. As a film that just happened despite itself. This is incompetence at its best. The only complaint I had about this masterpiece is that half the movie was spent showing the two protagonists developing their relationship, which is boring as fuck. These scenes dragged on forever and accomplished nothing. But once the bird attacks happened, everything went to shit, which made everything infinitely better.
So I have to say that Birdemic Shock and Terror is abysmal and beautiful all at the same time. It goes together like peanut butter and cheese curls. The terrible dialogue and horrible acting mixed with the horrendous CGI turn this shitstorm into a train wreck you just can't look away from. Everything happens for no reason. Scenes end, characters are introduced and forgotten about, birds are ending the world, and then they just stop. You just need to see it to believe it. Nothing works right, and it's perfect for this film. If anything were to actually go right, it would have ruined it. This film fails in such a way and at such a level that it wins. Forget Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Watch James Nguyen's Birdemic, Shock and Terror instead.
Hitchcock has nothing on these guys.
And that's why this movie gets both a 2 and a 7 on the shot scale at the same time.
Sounds about right.
So we know not everyone likes to watch the same kind of shit that we do, so we like to give every B movie that we review an A movie companion and tell you why that A movie is the same as this B movie, just of a higher class and standard. For me, I gave this movie the A movie companion of War of the Worlds from 2005. You know, the Tom Cruise version.
I picked Titanic from 1997.
I have to say that War of the Worlds is the perfect, A movie companion because in both movies, a force begins to destroy mankind for seemingly no reason, whether it be birds or aliens. Both movies feature the characters traveling around in a van that is, not actually owned by those characters. Both movies have the main characters transporting children around the country because, you have to take children with you to survive the end of the world.
Obviously.
And finally, there really is no point to the trip that they're taking because they're either going to face imminent doom or things are just going to work out, because movie magic. And that's why War of the Worlds from 2005 is an A-movie version of Birdemic, Shock, and Terror.
So I picked Titanic from 1997 because the first half of both movies was about the two protagonists establishing their relationship. The acting in both movies was terrible, though to be fair, the acting in Birdemic was still better than the acting by Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. After the disaster occurred, both movies got infinitely better, and personally, I was rooting for the disaster in both movies. I legitimately wanted the birds to win over the humans and take over the world in Birdemic, and I felt the iceberg was largely underrepresented in the movie Titanic. I thought that the character got little development, and I would have liked to see things from its perspective. And that is why the Titanic is just an A-movie version of Birdemic.
So there you have it. If you want to watch an A-movie version of Birdemic, check out War of the Worlds from 2005 or Titanic from 1997. Now we've come to everyone's favorite time where we get to tell you how to drink away the flick. Drink away the flick. Come on and grab your drink. Let's drink away the flick.
Bum, 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 bum.
I'll give you some drink games for this film, and then so shall Paul. Number 1, every time the audio cuts out, take a drink. Number 2, whenever there is terrible CGI on screen, take a drink. Number 3, whenever the kids say that they're hungry, take a drink. Number 4, anytime Rod watches the news, take a drink. And then number 5, because it's Bird Month, every time someone uses their bird, take a drink.
And in this case, bird means penis. Every time someone says global warming, take a drink. Every time a person is killed by a bird or a group of birds, take a drink. Every time a new character is randomly introduced, just to leave and never return minutes later, take a drink. And every time someone has a stupid, meaningless dialogue about the environment that makes little to no sense, take a drink.
And those are your ways to drink away this flick. So that brings us to the conclusion of our review of Birdemic, Shock, and Terror. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them here on SoundCloud. Tweet them at us at BMovieBros or find us at our website, bmoviebros.com. And for any happenings or news in the Pittsburgh area, check out our friends over at riversedgepgh.com. If you want to tune in next week, we will be reviewing the 2015 film Night of the Were-Rooster.
That sounds like an instant classic right there.
I know, and it's so new, I don't even know what to do. So until next time, friends, be brave, be alive, be back next week.